Hello, 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 everyone. Another day, another day. I have really an important message I want to impart today, and I'm going to do it after I greet everyone. Let me see who is here in the house. Hey, Barry and Stella. Stella from Wonder One. You know my reading. Stella from Wonders and I'll get it together. Wonders and Wanders. Hello. I hope you're doing okay. Hey, Letha says you're probably landing at LaGuardia. Okay. But if I'm still in the air due to weather details, I'll join this one against Ruthless Greed for sure. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah. Yeah, Ruthless Greed. It's what can we say? Hey, again, Barry, hello, hello. Oh, you're on a road trip from Virginia to Florida. Wow. Have a safe trip. I stuck my foot on something. Have a safe trip and wonderful time, Barry. Oh my goodness. Uh Sheila, hello, Sheila. Hello, hello. I heard, were you in an accident? Did someone hit and run you? Oh my goodness, was it you? Hey, stay tuned. Hello, what's shaking? Let's see if we can't get some stuff shaken here. Hi, Liza, how are you? And thank you. Same to you, Liza. Hey, Marta. Hello, Marta. Oh my goodness. Uh, hello, everyone else. Okay, I've got this right now. Stella Wonders and Wonders. Hello, and Wonders and Wanders. Oh my goodness. Who else is in the house? Vaughn's in the house. Oh my goodness. And Nora's here. Some of my fabulous moderators are here. Oh my goodness, Miss Net is in the house. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Yeah, something has been on my mind and in my heart. I had a conversation with someone the other day, and it just prompted me to um to really ponder on some things that I wanted to talk with you about today. Who else is here? Who else is here? Hey, Joy B is in the house. Oh my goodness, the crew is here. The crew is here. Caroline Hannah says hello to all of us. Hey, PJ, hello. For you all, I'm thinking of moving. I have found places in Yuma. Oh, okay. Quartzsite and Lake Havasu. What are the pros and cons of these three places? Well, just off the top, they're all very, 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 very hot in the summer. I think Yuma perhaps has more days of sun and heat than perhaps any other place, maybe other than Death Valley. I don't know about Death Valley, but they're all very hot in the summer. So I don't know. I don't remember where you're coming from, PJ, but that's something you have to consider because if you're going to be there in the summer, you're going to have, if you're running things on propane, you're going to go through a lot of propane. If you're running things on electric from the power grid, you're going to be spending a lot of money. I know someone, this was about 20 years ago, lived in a part of Arizona, not up in the mountains, but in a part of Arizona that got very hot in the summer. And he was spending $500 a month on air conditioning. Now, he had a big home, but he was spending $500 a month on air conditioning back in the day. So that's something you have to factor in. What you save on housing, you could spend on um, temperature control if you don't have solar. Now, if you have solar, you got lots of sun, and if you're running stuff, have enough solar to keep your air going with that, you're in great shape. But that's what I would say would be one of the because I looked at Yuma. I had looked at Yuma for Tiny House Village, and yeah, Lake Havasu, I like Lake Havasu. I think that's a very cool place. Quartzsite, that's an option too, although it's very, very small town. Um, so you don't have all the amenities you might be used to if you're in a bigger town. But anyhow, let everyone else pipe in and see what they have to say on it. But let's see who else is in the house here. All right, all right. Hey, Dorothy Connor, hello, hello from North Carolina. Okay, and Patty from the Ozarks. Okay. Uh Cap Suzu is from, oh, saying, not saying where you're from, just hello, hello. Well, hello, and Car W. Hey, Jennifer's in the house. John's Deb. Oh my goodness, 3 generations. Hey, Iris. Thank you. Thank you. Muskogee Land is here. Sunny and warm in Santa Fe. Oh, Santa Fe is beautiful. I loved Santa Fe. Oh my goodness. Car W says, I'm looking at flying to France in 2 months and not coming back. Wow. Wow. Well, just look. All I would say is anyone going into any different area, whether you're moving to a different city, a different state, a different country, do your research. That's all I suggest. And I suggest that you make a trip to the destination that you are considering staying in, and that you make a trip and stay there for a period of time, even if only a couple of weeks. But maybe in the most challenging times of year, if it's somewhere that gets hot in the summer, go there in the summer. If it's somewhere that's brutally cold in the winter, go there in the winter. That is my suggestion on anyone planning to make a move away from their current locale. Um, let's see. But people are flocking to other countries right now. I mean, flocking, especially seniors. But if you didn't see my video that I did talking about Panama and why I selected Panama, go back and check that out. But a lot of people are talking about Colombia too. I didn't really consider Colombia, but I've heard people talk about how great Colombia is. Um, Hey, Karen says hello, everyone. Hope everyone has a great Christmas. You too. You too. It's rapidly approaching. It seems like it was just here, and I closed my eyes and blinked, and here we are, another year, another Christmas holiday upon us, and Hanukkah and all of those things. Oh my goodness. Everyone is saying hello to everyone. Thank you, Muskegee Land. I appreciate that. Hey, Violets and Roses. Hello, hello. Miss Net says, unfortunately, I need to head out soon. I just got the call that there are 6 foster puppies. Oh my goodness, that I need to pick up. I can't bear the thought of them out in the cold. Oh, next week, if you have them, you'll have to come on live and show us them all, Miss Net. What kind of puppies are they? Oh my goodness. You know, there's 2 smells that are so distinct aside from, cinnamon rolls and those kind of things, but that's the smell of a new car. It has a special smell, and the smell of a puppy. You know how puppies have that special puppy smell? Oh my goodness, I just love, love, love puppies. Oh my goodness. Uh let's see, who else? Uh oh, yeah, before meeting Lindy on Wednesday morning, I thought that was you, Sheila. Oh my gosh. Oh, I am so so sorry to hear that. You know, I was thinking about that when I heard that there was a hit and run. Where it happened, there might be um um I hope you reported it to police, because there might be cameras. Almost every business now has cameras. So if you know what kind of vehicle it was, you might have police check all the cameras on that street exiting from where they left and took off from, because at some point a camera along their route or a stoplight or something may have caught them on video, and you will be able to find out who they are, and law enforcement will be able to track them down. So I hope that you're able to do that, Sheila. But that was a suggestion I wanted to give. Hey, Cheryl, how are you? Hey, Outdoor Gypsy, hello, hello. Oh my goodness, Catherine, fabulous 60s. I know. Thank you, Catherine. Fabulous 60s, fabulous 70s, and even fabulous 80s, maybe even 90s. I think. Hey, I know someone in there. Well, I don't know them. I know of someone in their 90s who is very active, driving and doing all kinds of stuff. So, you know, uh, let's see. I know, Nora, isn't that cool? Hey, Liddell, one of my members. Hello, hello, hello. PJ says, Net, if they are schnauzers, I'll take one. Oh my goodness. Uh, yes, absolutely, Vaughn. She needs to go get those puppies. Cheryl says, did you see the link I sent via email? I'll have to go back and see. I don't open links, Cheryl. So I did respond to someone who sent me a link. I don't remember if it was you or not. And I asked them if they can send me the name of what it was, and I'll try and find it and look it up that way. But I don't open links. Liza says, today I'm watching on my TV. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that painting, that painting is 70 years old, and the painting above it is 70 years old too. My mother bought those two paintings when we lived in Germany. And there's a third one, it just didn't fit up there. But yeah, those paintings hung in my parents' house for 50 years. They were in our home in Germany, and now they're in my house. So yeah, that's the history behind those. Um, uh, oh, they all have solar. Okay, all the are you looking at a mobile home park? Are you looking at bringing your own, or what are you looking at doing, PJ? Um, hey, Catherine says that's a lot for AC. Yeah, it is a lot for AC, but if you have a very small trailer, it wouldn't be as much, if you have a small trailer, but you still would need a solid solar system. Stella says, I was stationed in Yuma for 2.5 years. And yes, very hot summers up to 120 degrees. Yeah, I was in Yuma one year at 9 o'clock at night, and it was in the 90s. And the ground was hot as blazes, even the ground. And that was at 9 o'clock at night. It was still in the 90s. So, yeah, if you're going to be in Yuma, you better be ready for some hot weather. Car W says, I paid $500 a month for utilities and AC due to it being on the third floor of an apartment in San Diego. Wow. Wow. Near the five, not even that far from the coast 2 years ago. Yeah, the five is close to the coast. So you paid 2 years ago 500. So and utilities have gone up considerably in the last couple of years. So yeah, and that's in San Diego. San Diego is moderate, you know? So yeah, yeah, so that's a factor to consider. You have got to, unless you're wealthy, you've got to have solar. Carr says I lived in Yuma in 2013, and it was unbearable by the time it got to the middle of July. That's been my experience too when I've been in Yuma, and it's only been a couple of times. I went there to interview someone on a couple of different occasions. I went to Yuma to interview people, and it was during the summer. Yeah. Uh Cheryl says Lake Havasu is really nice. I'm looking at a smaller piece of land there. Yeah, Lake Havasu is nice. I've also heard of an area called Wonder Valley. I think that is in that general area. Can someone tell me if I'm correct or not? But yeah, I think Wonder Valley is kind of going towards Lake Havasu area. But I've heard that I've never not been to Wonder Valley, but I've heard it's very nice and has very reasonably priced properties. Sylvie says, "Yay, Globy's great to see everyone." I know, isn't it? Uh Who else? Have I missed anyone? I think I've said hello. Carr says, thank you. I went to France when working in Germany with the army. Okay. Was that recently? Because a lot of things have changed in France lately. There are a lot of changes in France lately if you're keeping up with things that are going on over there. So just be mindful, you know. Muskogee Land says, Lake Havasu was awesome. Everything you need. A Dillard's, 50,000 pop. Yeah, Lake Havasu is pretty well developed. Um, Sylvia's saying hello to everyone. Hey, Koki. Hello, how are you? Hello, hello. Um, oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed the video, Catherine. I'm going to do a video Monday. I was going to get it up today, but I got other things going on. But I'm going to do the video Monday talking about what the process is for getting and acquiring a permanent visa in Panama. So I'm going to go through the steps. There are a couple of things that I'm getting contradictory information on. So I will let you know that that's the information that I have, but that I have contradictory information on it. But I'm going to go through the steps. I don't have all the prices, so I can't give you all the cost right now because depending on, people I contacted different people for the same service, I had a wide range of cost. But I will give you on some of them a ballpark figure what I've been able to find out, and I will tell you what the process is. It's not cheap. I will tell you this, it's not tens of thousands of dollars or something like that, but it does cost, you have to have a passport if you don't have a passport. And I'll go into all the other things. I've learned a lot about, about the process, and I'll share that in a video I'm going to do on Monday. Um, Vaughn says, oh, Muskego Land says, Winter was wonderful. Shorts. Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah, winter. But kind of like Palm Springs, I would think. The winter's there. But yeah, summer was a challenge. Vaughn says, I'll gladly take a blizzard over insane heat always. I prefer cold weather over heat. Extreme. If I had to go extreme, I'd rather extreme cold than extreme heat, but I really don't want extreme either one, you know. But I will take cold. I think cold is easier to deal with than heat. I mean, it's, it's just really, really tough dealing with heat. Sheila says, I saw your video. It was great, Carol. Thank you, Sheila. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Cheryl says, there's a huge expat community in Colombia. Yeah, I'm hearing about more and more people that are in Colombia and that there is a expat community. I guess, my impression of Colombia was, drug lords and all that kind of stuff. But apparently a lot of that has changed over the years. And there are a lot of Americans in Colombia, and it's very, very affordable. I didn't look into what the process was. Once I kind of honed in and decided on Panama, I kind of left Colombia alone. But I may, depending on what happens when I visit Panama, I may put Colombia on the list. I don't know. We'll see. But I need to visit. The summer months are coming up right now in Panama. The winter, it has a lot of rain, but I think I can handle that because it doesn't rain like all day. From what I've heard people say, the rainy season in Panama is kind of like being in Hawaii. It'll be nice, and then all of a sudden it'll be maybe a deluge of rain for maybe an hour, maybe even a couple, and then it's back to sunny. Kind of typical tropical. I mean, when we were in, where was it? The Dominican Republic. We'd be out and it would be sunny and we'd be out in the pool messing around, and all of a sudden it would just thunder and lightning and just raining and blah blah blah. And then an hour or 2 hours later, it's cleared up. So that's what I can handle, that because I've been in that kind of weather both in Hawaii and in the Dominican Republic. But if the humidity is so bad that it raises my blood pressure, I won't be able to tolerate it. So I want to visit in the upcoming months when the humidity is going to be at the highest, so that I can see if it's something I can tolerate. So that's a plan. Planning for a trip to Panama at some point in the next few months. Um, Sylvie says, if I didn't have family here in Florida, I'd have left in 2016. A lot of people started leaving in 2016, but last quarter of last year, people just really, really in droves started leaving. PJ says, Sherry, these all have a home on them of different sizes. Oh, okay. So you're looking for places that already have a home and you're not looking to move a home onto there or build one. Okay. I think that's a great plan. Outdoor Gypsy says, hi from beautiful Prescott. Oh, Prescott. I knew someone who about 8 years ago moved to Prescott, and they said it was affordable. They were going to get a house. That was a reasonable house. I wish I had bought property in Prescott then when she left. But I didn't. And now it's pretty pricey in Prescott. From what I hear, is that true, Outdoorsy or Outdoor Gypsy, or not? Let me know. Let us know in here. Um, Yeah, Sylvie says, "Oh, Miss Net, puppies, I know." Yes, Cheryl, puppies' breath, just the whole smell of puppies. They have this special smell. No matter what kind, they when they're little, they have this little smell about them. Uh, hey, Hot Don't says, "Remember, the politicians work hand in hand with the corporations." Oh, absolutely. You know, they feed each other, They feed and look after each other. Hey, see Victoria. Hello, hello. Uh, Another member in the house. Woohoo! Hello, hello. Sheila says, I did very little information. I believe they are doing that. I hope so because I think there's a high probability that you will be able to track down if they really do good police work. I think you will be able to track down if you know what kind of vehicle was that hit you and the color. I think you will be able to track it down. There are cameras everywhere now, you know. Uh let's see. Everyone's saying, "Hey Jackie, hello." Had to get my tacos. Oh yeah, oh my goodness. I had a taste today for I don't know why, but Cane's chicken strips. I don't know why. That just came into my mind. Cane's chicken strips with they have that bread that's pretty good and yeah, I don't know. You tell me. And that dipping sauce. Do you ever have something comes into your mind, a food, and you can't get it out of your mind until you get it? That's been what it's been like today with me, with Canes. Cheryl says, I was in a hit and run accident and chased them, and the police called them. Hey, good for you, Cheryl. Hey, I'm going to give you a kudos for that. Camera at the light caught the accident. Yep, there's cameras everywhere now. Um, Catherine says, Jackie, tacos are good. They sure are. And I love fish tacos too. Ooh, yeah. Some good old fish tacos. Vaughn said, Jackie, I had tacos too. Oh my goodness. Muskegee Land says, I love it. The baby boomers are active and doing stuff gives me hope. I'm 58. Oh, absolutely. Baby boomers are, we have done so many groundbreaking things, and so many things came of age during our time, from computers to technology taking off to so many things changing to the changing dynamic of women in the workplace. Just so many things change during our lifetime and during our developmental years that I think we personally, I think, the advent of birth control, I'm not going to say whether that was good, what resulted as a result of that, but I remember when I was a senior in high school, a young woman who had graduated a year or two earlier came back to visit and to talk to people about being out in the world and living life and blah blah. And I remember this was in I think 1970, and she was living with a guy, and they weren't married, and it was like we were all it was just like, "Whoa, she's living with him and they're not married?" Bohemian people, people who were in musicians and kind of that kind of crowd, that was something, but from a girl from a Catholic school, all girls school, we were shocked that the nuns let her come back and talk to us and tell us that. It was just like, oh, it was just like a huge, like, crazy thing. And now I think you have more young people that move in and live together before getting married than that just get married automatically. So things have changed so much. Our culture has changed so much. It's just unbelievable the changes. And we were at the forefront, with the Vietnam War protests, with the San Francisco State protest, with the um, Kent State. So many things happened. The assassination. So many things happened during our developing young adulthood that we have been we have been the pace setters for so much in our culture. Really, really have. Um, Sylvie says, good on you, Cheryl. Cheryl says, I sent an email. It's about Panama. It is from me, so very safe. Okay, I know that, and I'm not saying that you're not safe, but sometimes people are able to get in and we don't know that we have a virus and we send things out. I know people who've sent things out not knowing that they had a virus and it corrupted. So I don't open any links. I just don't open links unless it's a government link that I know is from a government agency. I don't have a choice. I just don't open links. But if you can tell me what it was about, let me know if it was from a video or something else. I'll go and I'll research and find it and check it out myself, Cheryl. Hey Janice, hello, hello, and Susie's in the house. Uh, let's see, anyone else? Uh, um, Everyone's saying hello to everyone. All right. Well, I wanted to talk about something that PJ says all on their own property, not in any parks. Parks are run by Gestapos. Well, parks are the new form of income for greedy corporations in many instances. They're finding that they're a cash cow and they're coming in and just raising prices and doing crazy stuff and end up costing a lot of seniors their homes the way that things turn out. But anyhow, what I wanted to talk about, Liza says, I knew the paintings must have a special story, beautiful and sentimental. Yeah, they do, Liza. They do have a special story to me. Um, I do want to talk about something. I was talking to someone the other day. I'm trying to remember who. I can't remember who it was, but but I remember the conversation. We were talking about how much power we have as common people and how if we oh I know who I was talking to. I was talking to someone. I was over at the courthouse the other day and I was talking to someone at the courthouse and I was telling her, I was telling her that I'm looking at getting um um residency in Panama, and she was saying she's looking at getting residency in Mexico. I mean, so many people that I talk to these days are already thinking about it, are planning to do the same thing. But we were talking about how the powers that be manipulate us. They manipulate us to make us think that each different group within society is an enemy to the other group. If you look at how um, they pit Hispanics against blacks and Cubans against Venezuelans and Haitians against Africans and minorities against non-minorities and poor people against people who are working and people who live in vehicles against people who live in homes. And if we actually stopped and thought about it, we're fighting each other when we're not each other's enemies. We're not the people harming us. We're not harming each other. We're pitted against each other so that the people above pulling the puppet strings are getting wealthy while we sit down here fighting each other while they rob us blind. While they give tax breaks, unbelievable tax breaks to the wealthy while increasing our payments for Medicare, while they give tax loopholes to the wealthy, while they increase property taxes such that seniors can no longer live in their property. They give tax credits to wealthy corporations while we can no longer pay for basic necessities like rent and just groceries even. And we were talking about, how if we stopped and looked at it, our collective power, how do corporations succeed? They succeed because we patronize them. Corporations, how does the NFL succeed? It succeeds because people watch the games, they go to the games, they pay for the tickets, they pay for their memorabilia, they watch their programming, which then gives them extra money by revenues from, from advertisements on the programs. So if we all said no, enough, we're not going to do that until these things change. We have unbelievable power. I want to look something up here live while I'm talking to you. Um, I want to give you an example of a couple of things where ordinary people that were perceived as having no power totally changed a system. If you look at the Montgomery bus boycott, let me see what year that was in. Hold on. I'm trying to see. Montgomery. That was in, I think, it was from December 5th of 1955 to December 20th of 1956. Folks got together, black folks in Alabama got together, and this was after Rosa Parks' arrest, and they boycotted the bus system. It was launched on December 5th, and on November 20th, 1956, the Supreme Court's ruling took effect and the buses were integrated and the boycott ended. That is a group of determined people who got together. These were poor people. These weren't people who had a lot of money. These were people who had no voice, no say, little to no money, but they completely changed an entire system. If you look at what's happening with Target right now, I'm not sure, but from what I've heard, let me just say, how much money has Target lost from the current boycott? There's currently a boycott by some okay, Target has faced significant financial impacts from recent boycotts, with some reports citing over 12, listen to this, 12 billion dollars in lost valuation, a nearly 50% drop in share prices, the cost of their shares on the stock market between April 24 and 2025. This is unbelievable. $12 billion? This isn't from wealthy people doing this. This is from average folks. And I just think, with what's happening with all the rules that are making it criminalizing it for people to live in their vehicles when they have no other shelter, for all of the things that are happening, for some of the costs for medical, if people on just the average Jane and Joe citizen would get together, regardless of religion, race, age, whatever, and say enough. Can you imagine the impact? Again, corporations make their money off people like you and me spending our money with them. If we stop spending our money, if we identified people who voted for increases in things that would make our lives much more difficult, if we found out which city council people voted to make it illegal to be in our vehicles if we couldn't afford housing, if we then in a cohesive manner targeted those individuals and those corporations, we could bring about change. And that's what I wanted to just say today, that we are much more powerful than we realize. We have a voice, but we need to combine our voices if we need to get any change done. And that's what happened with the Vietnam War. It became so unpopular, and so many people spoke out against it that brought that war to an end. But anyhow, that's my soapbox for the day. But I just like you to think about this. And I'm going to be doing some more videos on things that I really have been thinking about that are going on in society where we have the ability to make changes and we just haven't. Vaughn says, Carol, I've been out at 12 midnight in Vegas. It was still, yeah. Vegas, yeah, yeah, it's very hot. You go, I know when I've gone outside in Vegas or even in Palm Springs when it's 122 degrees, I feel like literally I'm breathing inside of a hot oven. And I feel like it's almost going to sear my lungs when I just inhale. Sylvie says, Vaughn, my daughter bought a dash cam last year after she was hit, and her insurance gave her a hard time. Yeah, yeah. I need to get a dash camera. I think it's really important. It can really save you from someone. If you're alone in your vehicle, you have an accident, and the person who hits you or caused the accident has another person in their vehicle who's willing to lie for them. You have 2 against 1. Whereas if you have a dash camera, it's all there and it doesn't matter what they say, it's right there. Sylvie says, Vaughn, when I lived in Las Vegas, I got up at 3 in the morning so I could go outside for a walk with my dog and baby. Yeah. Some of these places that are hot, it's hard to get used to. Hey, Koki says, Europa is most humane still in this world. I don't know. There's some changes happening in Europe, some really, really, really radical folks that are either taking over governments or having a tremendous impact in governments in Europe. I don't know, Koki, if that's the case still. Liza says, which states and cities have reasonable rents? Well, I just saw something. Funny you should ask that. I just saw something, Liza. I can't remember all of them, but Mississippi, which I don't want to live in Mississippi. Kentucky. I lived in Kentucky for 4 years. I don't want to go back. West Virginia. West Virginia is very beautiful, but it has an unbelievable drug problem and other issues that I don't even go into. Oklahoma. I don't want to live in the tornado alley. Missouri. Missouri, has some good points for sure. Missouri, I think Louisiana might have been one. I do not want to live in Louisiana. And another one I think was Alabama, which I don't want to live in Alabama. And I can't remember the last 2, but I know the ones that they named, there were 10. None of them were states. You know what? New Mexico might have been one. I would consider in the mountains in New Mexico. I would consider, but New Mexico is one of the poorest states, and many areas in New Mexico have out of control crime. Not everywhere, but a lot of areas have some pretty serious crime in New Mexico. But wherever you have poverty, abject poverty, you're going to often have a lot of crime. Now in foreign countries, that's not always the case. But in America, what I have seen in very high crime areas, there's often a correlation between high crime and poverty. So those are the states that I remember were on the list. And to answer your question, Liza, but they're not places that I would want to live. Sylvie says, Vaughn's on a roll. Sorry, I didn't say that right. The insurance company said they would have been able to help her if she had a camera and recorded it. Yeah. Anymore, everyone's got cameras now, for your own self-protection. Vaughn said, Sylvie, okay, I can understand that. I think some insurance companies might give discounts on having a dash cam. They might. Jackie said, The hard shell beef tacos I get are the best. Oh, okay. Hard shell, where do you get them from, Jackie? Um, Bunny Smith. Hey, Bunny says same. Some Nana woman on YouTube lives in the mountains of Colombia. Oh yeah, yeah, I saw her. She says where she lives in mountains, it's lovely weather. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that she lives in Colombia, and she did a beautiful, beautiful place. And there are a number of people, expats in Colombia, and now, I think some people live in gated communities. I don't want to live somewhere where I have to live in a gated community. Um, in At least not right now. I mean, if it comes to that, I guess it comes to that, but I'd rather somewhere where I don't feel the need to live in a gated community. But I do like the idea in Panama of having a doorman where people can't just come up to your apartment or enter the building. I do like that, but I want to be able to go out and just get out and that's just me. Uh I remember when I was a probation officer, I had a probationer who lived inside a gated community, but inside that gated community was another gated community. It's the first time I'd seen a gated community inside a gated community. The houses on the one side of the gate, the first area of the gated community, were maybe two, three, four, $5 million. The houses on the other side were from $5 million up. So I was like, holy moly, there's even hierarchies within gated communities. I had never seen that before. Oh my goodness. Victoria says, navigating with Nana is a good channel for expats in Colombia. Yeah, yeah, I've seen that. I have seen that channel. Liza say, was it hurricane season in Dominican Republic? No, it wasn't. It was just it would just rain in the afternoons often, and it wouldn't be for long, just for a little while, and by the time we went to dinner it was fine. But I do remember too that early in the morning and about dusk there were mosquitoes like crazy. And what is that? And that's one thing too, they talk about Panama does have mosquitoes, especially, and then you how they say that, that uh, virus, or let's see, that's caused by mosquitoes. Hold on, let me see how you say that. But there is an illness um, that starts with D. Oh, and I'm not talking about West Nile. I'm talking about mosquito caused um dengue, 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 or however you say it. It's a mosquito-borne illness causing flu-like symptoms and can progress, though, to severe damage, causing bleeding, organ failure, shock, and even death. So it's serious. So you do have to take precautions because it's a tropical climate. So but yeah, you have to be careful. But no, it was not hurricane season when we were in Dominican Republic, Liza. PJ says, Carol, are you really going to leave the States with your daughter here? I'm planning to bring her with me. I'm hoping she will come, but I can't make her, unless I get a conservatorship. I cannot make her. What I'm hoping to do, but I'm not going to be there full time. I'm going to be there part of the year and here part of the time. That's my plan, because you only have to be in, go back to or visit Panama, from my understanding. Correct me if anyone knows something different, but every 2 years in order to keep your permanent residency visa active. So, it'll depend on what's happening here with her, but we are looking for, and she's been wanting to be on her own, which that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I'm at an age, PJ, where I do have to make some decisions. I've lived for the last 22 years um not really living for myself. And I Don't know how many years I have left, but I would like to live some of them for me. And I think I've earned that, PJ. So I am going to do what I want to do at this point, to a certain extent. But anyhow, Bunny says, uh, Victoria, yes, that's the woman I was talking about. Yeah, yeah, I've seen her channel, and it's a very interesting channel. Hey, Graham. Hey, Randy's in the house. I didn't see you, Randy. Did you edge in here? Hello, hello, Randy. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hey, Graham from down under. How are you, Graham? Cheryl says, Carol, you can drive to Panama. Oh, no, I don't want to drive to Panama. Many do it and say they love it, but they say to take your time, not to rush the drive. No, I'm not that bold at this stage. The furthest I've driven is to North Carolina and back, and I don't really want to drive further than that. I'll be honest. And no, I'm not going to drive to Panama. That's not in the plans. At in fact, I was going to say at this time, it's not in the plans at any time for me to drive in Panama. But it does sound like it would be a beautiful, beautiful drive. Eliza say, I've heard Panama is a wonderful place to retire. Yes, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. Sylvie says, that's very wise, Carol, to go visit at different times of the year. Kind of like checking out property you want to buy when it's been raining. Yes, yes. And checking out property at night and in different, and yeah, it's exactly the same concept, Sylvie, same concept. Randy saying, hello, my friends. Hello indeed, Randy. Bunny says, I would not want to live in tropics, too hot and humid. I live in Virginia. I know hot and humid. Hey, I've heard from many sources right now that you're getting some awfully cold weather in Virginia. I was talking to someone the other day and they were telling me how cold it was in Virginia. And I have a friend who's in Chicago and it's going to get down to 0 where she is. Not in Chicago. She's in suburbs of Chicago. But yeah, no, so I don't know. That's kind of I don't know about. I think I might take the tropics depending. Although like someone said Panama is close to, the equator and it yeah. So it could be a little hotter and more humid than I can tolerate, but I'm going to see. Hey, Lindy's in the house. Hi, Lindy. Uh Victoria says, Bunny, yes, it's a great channel to learn about moving to Colombia. Yeah. On the internet, there's so many great channels about different areas of the world if you're interested in finding out and moving there. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you. Yes, guys, hit that like button. I always forget to tell you. And if you're not subscribed, for crying out loud, go on over and subscribe. Hey, Pata 56 says, my daughter wants to move up to Prescott. Prescott is beautiful. It really is. She drives up there every couple of weeks to spend the day. She hates it down here in Glendale. Yeah, Prescott, I think, other than Sedona, and I really like Sedona, I like Cottonwood in Arizona. I like up in the mountains above, is it above Santa Fe? Or is it above? I camped there 1 year, but they closed down the campground in about October or so because it gets a lot of snow. So I couldn't do that, couldn't go that high, but it was beautiful, beautiful in New Mexico. But Prescott, um, I really, really like Prescott and Sedona. Let's see. Cheryl says the midterms will be here before you know it. A major change will occur. We'll see. We'll see. There's no telling, Cheryl. I think we've turned a corner, and I don't think there's going back from some things. The Supreme Court has made some decisions. There's some other things that have happened. I don't think that some things we can go back from, and I think we're going to have to live with certain things. But I think other things that make it almost impossible for us to survive. In order to survive, we're going to have to bond together, come together, and make certain demands in order to survive for those who are want to survive in this country, especially if you're not wealthy. Um, Susie says Glendale was always the pit of Phoenix. I don't know. I don't really know about. Uh, Thank you, Nora. Thank you. Yes, leave those likes. Those hit those like buttons if you will. Uh, Patty says we both live on the outskirts of Glendale between Happy Valley and Pinnacle Peak, close to the 17, so it's not too bad. Okay, all right. Uh, Lindy saying hi to folks. Muskegee Land says Canes is the best. I know. I just have had this taste for Canes. Oh, so for Canes, and I'm not usually a chicken nugget or a chicken strip kind of person, but I just have a taste for them. So I've been trying not to spend money out eating out, but I have a couple times this month, and ooh, I'm trying to control it. Hey, Ma SF says, hello, Globies. I'm late, but glad to be here. I'm glad you're here too. Glad you're here too. Um, Everyone's saying hello, including to Garden Oasis. PJ says, Pat, that Highway 17 is a mess. The roads are worse than California. Oh my, that sounds like a challenge. Uh, Now Liza says, I want a taco too. Hey, you know, the power of suggestion is strong, isn't it? Oh my goodness. Catherine says, best generation baby boomers. Absolutely. I could not agree more. I could not agree more. Patty says, I agree with you. We were up at Mans Park coming back home, and there was an accident. It took us 5 hours to get home. Oh my goodness. Uh so he says, Catherine, I'm not ashamed to be a boomer. Me either. Me either. I'm proud to be a boomer. Hey, Beatrice says, sharing videos so others will know. Oh, thank you, Beatrice. Thank you so much. PJ says, Pat, not that the surface of the road is awful. Okay. Beatrice says, child free here. I tell you, um, I have friends who don't have children, and I tell you, they have put so much more money aside in savings. Children are expensive, very expensive. Between if you put them through college, if you got, they're expensive. And I don't know. I think girls could be a lot more expensive than boys, unless boys are really into sports, and then they are very expensive too. But hey, you got to do what you got to do. Catherine says, Beatrice, us too, me and hubby. Okay, okay. Barbara, hey Barbara, Joan Originals. Yeah, I remember it well. Hey Karen, hello, hello. Uh, Victoria says, I live in North Carolina, but work in Virginia Beach. Okay, yeah. I've been to Virginia Beach. Pat says, my daughter wants me to sell my house and move to Prescott. I just don't feel like moving right now. Plus, the house prices are high there, and interest rate is still too much. I have 2.75. Wow. Yeah, it would be hard to give up a 2.75 interest rate. That's for sure. But yeah, the houses are high in Prescott. Like I said, I wish I had bought back when the person that I knew moved, but hey, you know what? Hindsight is always 2020, isn't it? So you just got to go with where we're at now and go for that. Um Bunny says, by the way, we had career day in my Catholic school. They were so desperate to get nuns. They had come and told us you can be uh as you want and still be join the convent. Oh my goodness, that's funny. That's funny. Yeah, we were shocked. I mean, it was yeah, an all girls private Catholic school, back then. We still wore uniforms. We wore uniforms and we had a summer uniform, a winter uniform, a uniform we had to wear on Sundays to go to mass. That was a special uniform. I mean, and you only way you could not wear that uniform for mass was if you were going out with your parents for the day, and they had excused you from mass for some reason. I mean, oh my goodness. Uh, yeah, things have sure changed. And I remember when I first heard about co-ed dorms where boys and girls lived in the same dorm, I was like, oh my gosh, what has this world come to? That was nothing, nothing. That was small potatoes compared to now. But I remember it was so shocking when we heard that there were dorms that boys actually lived on the same floor as the girls. We were like, oh my words. We were shocked. Oh my gosh. Now, oh my goodness. Yeah. Uh, Crazy, isn't it? Oh, Don's in the house. My brother Donald's in the house. Hello, 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 Donald. Oh my goodness. Let's see. Um, did I Barbara Jonas from Florida. Hello, hello. Nora says nothing like slutty nuns. Oh my goodness. I remember, I think two of the nuns when I was at school, they eventually left the nunnery. I don't know what else you would call it, but they left, stopped being nuns. Oh my goodness. Uh, One of the nuns, though, she wasn't the one that left. She would never leave. Oh gosh, she was such a nightmare because I went to a boarding school. She'd come in and she'd look through your drawers and when you weren't in your room, and she'd go through searching. I mean, she was terrible. So we got some stuff one time. This is way before marijuana was legalized, and we got some stuff that looked like marijuana, and we got it all and we put it in these little bags, and we stuffed them all in our room all over so that it looked like we had marijuana. I forget what it was, catnip, some kind of lemongrass. I don't know what it was, but whatever it was. And later that afternoon, we all got called to the principal's office, and we're looking at each other. We're like cracking up, trying to keep straight faces because we put it there because we knew she'd find it, think it was marijuana, and turn it into the head. There was a head nun who was the principal. I mean, she was scary. She was really scary, but she called us in, and then she had all these packets on top of her desk, and she says, girls, would you like to explain these? And it was all we could do to keep a straight face. We said, oh, yeah, that was just, and we told her what it was. And we're just going to make tea from that. And then we kind of looked over at the nun that we all hated. And the principal, she looked at us because she knew what we had done. She said, I see. And she looked at it and she examined it. And she says, well, you can take it back, but I don't think you need this quantity of this in your room, do you? And we took it, and when we left, we were cracking up. Was we wanted to say, "Busted, got you," because she'd sneak in our rooms, and like we didn't know, because stuff would be changed just a little bit, and we knew it was her sneaking in our rooms, looking around, prying, and that was uh, that was our got you. We had many of those kind of days. We weren't the we were I guess the word would be mischievous. But anyhow, yeah, that when we got called to the principal, we could hardly wait to get there and see the look on her face because she was so sure she had busted us, and she was sitting there so self-righteous, like, I got you now. Like, she was always trying to catch us. A few of us she was always trying to catch because she always thought we were up to something, which we were, but she was always trying to catch us. And it kind of reminded me of that movie, The Breakfast Club. I don't know if any of you've seen it, but oh, and we left with our little bags. We just kind of held them and walked past her and smiled sweetly. And she was looking. She was if there was a smoke detector in that room, it would have gone off from the steam, the smoke coming out of her ears when she realized that she hadn't busted us. And I guess she figured out what we'd done too, that we'd set her up. But anyhow, enough stories from my misbegotten teenage years. Um, Bunny says, "Hey, the nun story is true. The I can't even say that word had lived. She was an active girl before she decided to be a nun." Okay, well, maybe she decided she needed to change her path. There's nothing wrong with changing your path and doing better. you know. Caroline says you're absolutely right about the powers to be. Yeah. I have a video that I'm going to be doing. I wanted to do some research on it, but there's a movement afoot, I believe, and I'm not going to talk about it on the live, but because I'm going to do a video on it. But there's a movement afoot that I think it's not a conspiracy, but it's like a plan um, to control us in certain ways, and I'm going to talk about that in this video. I hope it doesn't get me kicked off YouTube, but I really think there is a plan, a larger plan, and that we're kind of like the puppets that they're jerking our chains. And I'm going to talk about that to a certain degree in an upcoming video. Uh, Pat says it starts in school, class against class, school against school, county against county, state against state. Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. Sylvie says, I agree, Carol. They pit people against each other. They also intimidate and hurt people in public and do the best to make us believe we are powerless and only they know what should be done. And we really hold the power. When you think about it, we hold the power at the ballot box. We hold the power at the cash register. We hold so much power collectively. If we came together, we could make so many changes for our good, you know? And I just wonder when we're going to all get fed up and sick and tired and come together instead of fighting each other, because we all have a common enemy, and it's not each other. Cheryl says, just send another email with a name. Thank you, Cheryl. I just heard my thing ding. So thank you. Bunny says we used to have progressive tax system in this country. No more. Yeah. Okay. Catherine says preach, Carol. Well, it's just I just it's just so upsetting to see how, if you stand back and really look, how we're just being so manipulated. You know. Yeah. Bunny says stop buying so much. Yes. Yes. But again, Target has lost $12 billion by the boycott that's been launched against them. 12 billion, and their stock has gone down 50% in value according to what I just looked up on the internet. Can you imagine if 20 of the top Fortune 500 are top rated companies, from Amazon to all the other companies, were impacted to that degree? You don't think that they would start listening to us? That's just one company. One company. It would be massive. Massive. They'd be having, oh my goodness. Uh Vaughn says, Nora, are you seeing, do you want to see this message in the chat? I've seen it 2 to 3 times. I don't know what message you're talking about, Vaughn. You guys a lot of times see things before I do and take care of them before I even see them. But Vaughn and Marta, could you and Miss Net's gone, but I want you four, if you would email me. I wanted to talk to the four of you. Nora, I'll talk to you on the phone, but Vaughn, Marta, and Miss Net, if you would email me when you get a chance. Nora says people kept buying from the corporations that bankroll these politicians that benefit from their tax breaks. Amazon is a huge offender. I'm not even going to get into Amazon. That's a whole story all on its own. But yeah, the we keep buying from companies who don't act in our best interest. Let me say that. Why not only buy from companies who benefit us and do things in our interest? Companies who maybe put up uh, senior living, low income senior living houses in neighborhoods. Companies who do things for us. I don't, just a thought, just a wild thought. Bunny says, and they capitulated and stopped segregating the buses. They did. They lost Oh, let me see how much money. Uh, um, money talks. Have you ever heard that saying? Money talks, BS walks. But let's see. How much money did the Montgomery, Alabama bus company lose during the boycott in the 1950s? I'm looking to see.
The Montgomery Bus Company lost a lot of money during the bus boycott.
During the
Estimates
three
suggest around $3,000 each day, potentially over $700,000 in total by the end of 1956.
Did you hear that? It said during the 381-day Montgomery bus boycott, the Montgomery City Lines, the bus company, lost significant revenue, around $3,000 a day, or potentially over 700,000 total by late 1956. Let's see. I'm curious about something. Um, what would $700,000 in 1956 dollars be in 2026 dollars? Since we're almost in 2026.
$700,000 in 1956
It would be $8 to $9 million. So that's how much they lost, would be the equivalent to today's money. But they lost that. That was huge. $700,000 for a company in 1956. A small local city bus line, not a national or company. That was huge. When you hit these corporations in their pocketbook, you will get their attention and they will change. It says, Nora Cake says, people keep buying because they go the easier route. But sometimes, you have to be inconvenienced for a little while to make a bigger change that will change your life for the better long term. And that maybe even of your children. Because if your life's better and your outcome's better, then your children and grandchildren's outcomes stand to be better. That just logically makes sense to me. AT says that's one thing in common, poverty. Yeah, but poor people spend money too. And enough poor people stopping spending money. Look what happened to some of these grocery stores when they couldn't get these food stamps from poor people. They were looking at losing Walmart and some of these companies, they were raising, you don't think that they behind the scenes raised big time, what, at how much they were going to lose? I believe that's one of the reasons things changed too, because they were going to lose so much money. Bunny says we are brainwashed into thinking the key to happiness is buy, buy, buy. It ain't. No, it's not. That's true. So true. AT says they just changed the CEO. Oh, Target? Wow. Wow. I'm not even going to look that up. I believe you, AT. Yeah, I mean, what can I say? Nora says, I've been boycotting Amazon, Target, Walmart. I haven't been going to Target. I haven't bought from Amazon in a while. I haven't really been boycotting them, but I haven't bought from them in a little while. I used to buy from them on a regular basis, but I don't do that anymore. And Walmart, I really don't buy from Walmart that much anymore. I occasionally do now. That used to be my go-to, one of my go-tos. But now Grocery Outlet and Costco are my go-tos. Occasionally Aldi's, but mostly Grocery Outlet, Aldi's, and Walmart when there's something I absolutely can't get at those other two. But yeah, not so much Walmart anymore. See, Victoria says 100% right, Carol. Uh, Bunny says, Nora, oh, good for you. So impressive. Yes, that is. Carrie Joe says, admirable, Nora. That really is. Yep, yep. So Carrie's asking Nora, do you only do local then? And see, Victoria said, I'm with you, Nora. Yeah, Nora says, Bunny, it is a pain in the butt to not just order from Amazon, but I refuse to do it. I've never bought from Walmart because they've always been terrible employers. Yeah, yeah, they don't always. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it, but I've heard some serious stories from some people who've worked at Walmart. So, Nora says, Carrie, yes, only local. And I go online. I go to manufacturer website or small retailer website. Nora, you are one in a million, I tell you, Nora, and kudos to you. Sylvie says Canada is boycotting American booze. Oh yeah, and it's hurting Kentucky. Hey, Cuddles, Cuddles, Cuddles. Do you see that I'm on a live, Cuddles? Do you see I'm on a live? Oh goodness. Okay, I will get with you. He said, okay, enough time ignoring me. He was on his bed, then he got up and he started sitting down looking at me like, hey, what am I, chopped liver here? I'll be with you in a minute, Cuddles. Just hold on, okay? I'll be there shortly. Go have a seat on your bed. I will get with you. He gave me kind of a look like, and then he did one of these and looked away. He's not pleased with me at all. I had given him some snacks before we started to kind of get him settled down so he wouldn't come over here and be jumping on me during the live. But now those snacks have worn off. Okay. Jess, can you come take Cuddles out? He may need to go out. All right. Okay. Never mind. He won't go out. No, I'd rather you not.
Oh, you're saying this now.
I'd rather you not.
Fine.
Okay, thank you. Oh boy, here we go. No, Jessica, I said I'd rather you not.
Will you just call me in here? Hey, folks, how y'all doing?
Okay. All right. Jessica.
I'm going out.
Cuddles.
Just be brave once in your freaking life.
Yeah, he won't go outside with anyone but me. Jessica, I'm on my live, please.
Yeah, I know.
Oh boy, Cuddles. Go on your bed, please. I'll take you in a minute. He wants to run around and he won't go out unless I go with him. This dog is so spoiled. I'm telling you, he is spoiled. I've seen dogs who won't eat their food unless you put gravy on it. He's not quite that spoiled, but he won't go out. He won't go. Anyhow, and he has to have so many minutes each day at different interviews of coming up, putting his head on my shoulder, and me petting him, telling him what a wonderful boy he is, and just talking to him and telling him how great he is, how wonderful he is. Then he'll get down, and a little while later he'll come up and he'll put his head on my shoulder, and he'll and if I'm on the computer, he'll kind of knock my hand off of it, like, okay, no, it's my time, me time. Ooh, he's worse than a man, I tell you. But anyhow, back to where I was. Oh yeah, Sylvie was talking about Canada is boycotting American booze ever since yeah. It's really hurt Kentucky bourbon and a lot of distillers, American distillers. It's really, really hurt them, and it's really been a boost for Canadian producers of liquor. So I guess for some it's been helpful. Others over here, it's really been bad. PJ says, I just went to Save Mart, $7 for the same size bottle, and Amazon for $2. Oh, yes, I ordered it from Amazon. Well, everyone has the right to do what works for them, and I do admire you, Nora, for taking that stand. Bunny says, and there is no rule that we can't have capitalism without curbing the power of corporations. Absolutely. We don't even have to have corporations to have capitalism. Capitalism, by definition, is undemocratic. Well, corporations have become very, very, very powerful. And if you just look at, like, again, NFL owners, how powerful they are in different communities, and getting tax breaks and stadiums either paid for or different things. powerful, powerful entities, these corporations. Vaughn says, Nora, I refuse to give a penny to Amazon, iPhone, Target. Walmart is a harder one to cut off for me, though. Yeah, I just, what I have done is just cut down more altogether, and I buy a lot of stuff from thrift stores that I need now. I look for things that I need from thrift stores more than probably any other stores, you know. Carrie Joe says there definitely is a monopoly of combined services now. Choices keep getting less and less. That is true. Now that is true. Vaughn says, Carol, you can use an old cell phone and app as dash cam. Huh. Interesting. I'll have to consider that, Vaughn. I hadn't even thought about that. But the problem is, by the time I get through with my cell phones, they're so old that everything has stopped almost working on them. So for some people who might get a new cell phone after 3 or 4 or 5 years, yeah. But for me, mine are a lot older than that. So, they don't even have upgrades on them anymore. So I don't know if that would work for me, Vaughn. Nora says, I used to get some of my art supplies on Amazon. No more. I'll drive half an hour to my art supply store. Well, that's double good because you're also patronizing local businesses and supporting your local economy. So Bunny says, Nora, Mart is terrible for their employees. I know we're subsiding or subscribing their health care because Mart employees don't have health care and we pay for them to have Medicaid instead. Oh, so subsidizing. I'm sorry. You're subsidizing health care. Yeah, I think every large company, especially one that's making the kind of money that Walmart is making, should be paying for health care for employees. Absolutely should be. PJ saying, dang, I was thinking today was Sunday. Nope, today is Saturday. Koki says, go worse in Europe. You're right, got worse in Europe, but even with that, it's still most humane part of the world. I don't know because I haven't lived in Europe in many, many years. I haven't lived in Europe since I was a child. So I really don't know, but I know that things are rapidly changing there. And yeah. Liza says, I can't afford Brooklyn. Yeah. Who can afford anywhere in New York City anymore? PJ says Huntsville, Alabama is on my list. Okay, well, it has some nice things to offer, but I just wouldn't want to live in Alabama. That's just me. But everyone's different. Nora says Bunny, Walmart has been terrible for as long as I can remember. I won't ever shop there again. Wow. Bunny says Nora, Target is trans rights, right? Amazon is terribly humane and Mart is despicable too. Well, I think the truth be known that a lot of these corporations um, have taken actions and supported things in terms of that are really harmful to people, that if we knew the whole truth, we would be horrified. I really think if we really knew the truth about a lot of these corporations, we find out about some of them dumping materials, ones that have uh, locations in foreign countries, some of the things that they dump there, because the guidelines here are more stringent, so they can't dump a lot of their toxic materials, but then they do it in foreign countries. I mean, the child labor that they have in foreign countries. I mean, if we really looked at, if every single large corporation was scrutinized, I bet we'd find a lot about many, if not most of them, that would be horrifying to us. But you know what? Cheryl says there's a YouTube channel that names all the states that are prime for seniors who need to live only on their Social Security. It states their rents and all the good and bad. Yeah, there are. Here's the thing, though, Cheryl. A lot of the states that are affordable for people to live on Social Security have terrible health care. They don't subscribe to some of the Medicare benefits. They have terrible terrible health care for seniors. So it's kind of like weighing off one thing against the other. Yeah, you can afford to live there, but will you get decent health care? I mean, you just have to evaluate it based on what's important to you, what your needs are, So, but anyhow, I have to go between Cuddles sitting here now. He's sitting here giving me the eye. He's just sitting here staring at me like, and Jessica's saying you're supposed to end at 4. And now it is, oh my gosh, it's 4:30. All right, folks, we're going to get off. I'm going to do my best to get that video up Monday, sharing with you the step by step that you have to go through in order to get a permanent residency visa, the Pensionata. I'm going to focus mostly on the Pensionata visa, which is the easiest and I think the best one there. There are other visas that if you put down thousands of dollars in investments, but who has that to do? So I'm going to focus on the Pensionata visa and I'll share the steps. And as I start taking those steps, I will take you along with me and show you what has to be done. All right. Love each and every one of you. Stay tuned. If you haven't seen the video that I already did on Panama and why I have chosen Panama so far, go back and check it out. It just came out as my last video. I have another video coming out hopefully Monday on, like I said, the system or the steps to get a visa. And then I have some other videos coming out that I'm going to be talking about some pretty heavy issues about things that are going on and how I think we're being manipulated and some other things that I think are really serious. So stay tuned for some kind of heavy material coming up, but accurate and I think honest and things that we need to consider and look at. But I love each and every one of you. May your journeys be filled with joy and blessings. And I am probably going to be in Quartzsite in the very near future for at least a couple of days. But I'll let you know when that happens too. All right. Love you all. And I am getting, if there's anyone that is your first time in, I know I've missed all of these great, great, great comments and probably some people who are new here. But if it's your first time in, could you hit a number 1 so I can acknowledge you real quick? And if you have a channel, put a number C if you want to be acknowledged. But quick, because Cuddles is giving me the evil eye and telling me, Mom, you need to come over and give me some love right now. Okay, Cuddles, I'm coming. He's wagging his tail like, okay, about time. All right, any number 1s? I thought I saw some new people over here in the house. I'm not going to be in Quartzsite for Christmas, PJ. I'm not sure where I'm going to be for Christmas, quite honestly. I wanted to be in I thought of going to North Carolina for Christmas, but I waited too long for tickets. Plus, I don't have the real ID, which means it's going to be hassle at the airport, and I just don't want to go through that hassle. So we'll see. Koki says 2.5 million people are in jail. Long time punishment. Some innocent people, many life sentences in America. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, but that's a whole nother subject and it's too late to get into that now. Okay. All right. LC, Jackie is keeping it stealth. Keep it stealth for Jackie. Go over and check out Jackie's channel. Give her some support. She's a new YouTuber called Keep It Stealth. Go over and visit Jackie, and I'm going to at some point do a video with her or have her on a live, and we're going to do some things. I'm going to do some things with Jackie, just haven't gotten around to it. Also, Violet's content Content Boutique. Violet at Content Boutique. Go over and check out that content creator. All right, folks. Kathy says you can serve our creator. It's the only way. I love all of you. Yep, serving our creator is the way to go. Love you. I will see you next week and have a wonderful, wonderful week, each and every one of you. All right.